So, just as a warning before I start this podcast, because we realised retroactively, how much we were going to spoil from various different, fairly recent stuff. So, I'm going to spoil all of Game of Thrones, including the recent ending. I'm going to spoil Avengers Endgame. I'm going to ruin aspects of Mortal Engines, of Buffy. But more specifically for, I know recent stuff is the stuff people want to maybe be protected from. So if you've not seen Avengers Endgame yet, and you've not seen the final episode of Game of Thrones, including all the preceding episodes, just stop this podcast now and then come back later. Beleaguered sigh.
Beleaguered sigh.
So, a show called Game of Thrones, I assume you've heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but
it was a book one day.
There was a book one day.
Yeah.
But the Game of Thrones has ended.
Yeah.
The game has ended. The person that won was Bran Stark.
Bran Stark.
Oh, actually, I should probably open up with some spoilers, I guess.
I think everyone who is any interest in Game of Thrones has seen it.
Has seen it, yeah.
Would you recommend? So, what I was just going to ask first off the bat. So, it has a real terrible ending.
Yeah.
Do you think that's enough to stop people from watching it from the beginning? Like, if someone had if you knew this had a terrible ending, would you have even bothered watching it at the beginning? Because it's hard to tell, ain't it, with TV? Like, does the ending have an impact overall and stuff? Like?
That's a really difficult question. I would say people should still watch it.
Okay. Even though you know they're going to have to be faced with, like, hours of middling, like, crap entertainment.
It was never crap entertainment.
Oh, right.
I would never say it, maybe except towards the end of, maybe except for season 5 and half of season 8. I would say Game of Thrones was never crap entertainment.
Okay.
More just bad writing and missed opportunities is what plagued it.
Yeah.
Like season 7 had really, really bad writing, but I would never call it not entertaining.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like hot messy.
Okay.
At its best, Game of Thrones is, you know, it's a great show with great characters and slightly troubling elements, but I would still say that people should still watch it. But I don't really know how people are going to feel about it now. Let's say, like in 5 years' time, when the dust has settled on this controversial finale, should we say, where people are, rightly angry with the way that it's gone.
Yeah.
Because,
well, it was the biggest TV show when it was on.
Yeah.
It waned, I think, somewhat in its final years, but
definitely, yeah.
In cultural relevance, not more like the quality of the show, but like it didn't seem to be as big as it used to be. But there was a point where this was like easily the biggest show on TV, and everyone talked about it and watched it and stuff. Yeah. To
say that it ends with a bit of a whimper, is a bit of an understatement. So I should probably get into how I feel about Game of Thrones in general. You checked out season 4, right?
Yes.
Okay, right, so
I enjoyed the first 3 seasons, wasn't a big fan of 4, heard reviews of 5 saying it wasn't very good and thought, I'm done with it. That's going to be like 40 hours more of engagement that I don't want to do.
Yep.
I'm done. I always echoed your things that there were problematic elements of it that I wasn't too big a fan of. Very rapey for a start.
Very rapey.
The sexploitation I wasn't a big fan of. I thought it was a bit slow in places, even when it was at its best. But yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. I'll leave on a high, and I'll just check out.
Yeah.
Tyrion killing Charles Dance is always going to be my ending.
That's how the show ends for you.
Does that character have any advancement that could have, after that you need? Like, that seemed to just get Tyrion, like, checked off perfectly. He's killed his dad, which is the main through line of his story, his father issues, seems to be alright for me.
Until the end of season 8, I'd say, yeah.
Okay.
It's the place where the characters goes. Alright, okay, right.
Maybe he's your key into this.
Right, okay. I'll briefly discuss mine as well.
Okay.
First 3 seasons I think are great. Really great television. Problematic elements, but overall great television, great characters, great story. Season 4 I think is good. Like, just good. I think there's some like naff elements. I've said it so many times, I've gone blue in the face, but for me, you could divide Game of Thrones between the first 4 seasons and season 4 ending, and then the second half of the show.
Is this where they moved away from the books? Is that the big problem?
It was getting near to the point, yeah.
Are they like filling out the last of what they've got, though?
Kind of. That's season 5's biggest problem. Okay. But season 4... one of the last scenes is, what I loved about the early seasons of Game of Thrones was the amount of credence and reality that they gave to all the characters.
Yeah.
When a character would say goodbye to another character, they really meant goodbye, because the
Yeah.
world is so big and so vast and so violent and a horrible place that those characters probably never would see each other ever again.
Yeah.
Whenever goodbye would happen in Game of Thrones, it was a big deal because the world is so big. They probably would never see each other ever again. And that's really sad in a way.
Yeah.
Season 4 jumped the gun by having Brienne randomly in the middle of the wilderness, middle of nowhere, bump into the Hound and Arya.
Is that 4, isn't it?
That's for like
I remember that, yeah.
that's like the last episode of season 4, and it's kind of like, okay, right, so I guess we're doing this now. We're just shuffling about characters with no thought or rhyme or reason. We just need to have this scene to happen. So Brienne bumps into the Hound and Arya. And for me, that's a key indicator of when the writing style of the show changed. Where characters, instead of being intricate, complex puzzle pieces who are separated by politics, violence, and geography, becomes, right, fuck, this thing needs to happen. I guess we meet there.
Yeah.
Because it's so complicated and we need to try and reach some kind of conclusion. A lot of things are sped up.
Yeah.
It gets to its worst probably like in season 7 when like characters just like, you think of like episodes in season 1, for example, when they're travelling down from Winterfell to King's Landing.
Yeah.
That's like a full episode or two before they actually get to King's Landing. Well, now in this you just do a jump cut, and it's like, really, how much time's passed? Well, I'm sure does give you a lot of indications. So yeah, I guess Tyrion could be my through line.
Yeah.
So I'll fill you in post Game of Thrones. So post season 4 after you check.
I'm gonna say it's a bit hard post Game of Thrones.
Post Game of Thrones, yeah. So season 5's biggest problem is it bulks out the remaining content that they kind of had left from the books, and a lot of the problematic elements of the misogyny really came to the forefront in that season, which makes it a very wheel spinny season, a very depressing season, and not that great entertaining season.
Yeah.
But season 6 starts to do some good things. Season 6 basically has it, and this is basically how they're going to start doing the ending. So, think about all the characters in Game of Thrones, all the good characters. They've all had years and years of emotional and physical abuse enacted on them.
Yeah.
And in season 6, it starts to turn the wheels that the good characters can all come together. Positive characters can come together to make a positive change for the world.
Yeah.
Basically, all your good characters who have still left begin to converge and meet other good characters. Tyrion becomes the hand of the Queen to Daenerys.
Okay.
In season, towards the end of 5, start of 6, he basically becomes Daenerys' hand of the Queen. And then other characters begin to meet each other. So Brienne meets Sansa and all this sort of stuff. So basically, you're in a situation where at the start of season 7, all the positive characters have come together to try and make a positive change for the world. And you know what? That's a good note to start to end this show on. Where after all the horribleness that's happened to the characters, I think it's a great idea to basically, especially in today's climate, where the message is clear. If you do have positive people who do come together, you can try and make a positive change for the world. And I think, as we talked about in our Morrissey Brexit video, it's kind of what people need at the moment.
Yeah.
People need to feel like they can take control of their own destinies.
Well, one of the problems I actually had with Game of Thrones with the 4 seasons was it was enjoyable, but as the actual work of art, I don't think it was saying anything positive or we talked about Deadwood and stuff because we reviewed them as you were watching the first ones. I remember that because you actually reviewed the 3rd one while we were doing that. I think.
Yeah.
And that obviously has positive worldview. People can come together as you were saying with that, and they can change the world positively and stuff. Sopranos, moral show kind of thing. I think all great works of art have to have some kind of crystallizing message behind them and stuff of not just things being negative but a positive way sort of forward. Some shit's just family's important and stuff like that, or it can be the denser it gets, it tends to be better. You build stuff onto it systematic issue, anything like that. Game of Thrones to me just felt a little bit like sadism for sadism's sake,
and you see that's kind of where the way the show was going would retroactively
fix.
not basically excuse it, but at least we were building to something that I said after years and years of psychological and emotional abuse at the hands of horrible people, the people in control, the people in power, that positive characters were able to come together under a kind of controversial figure. Daenerys was never perfect.
Yeah.
She did some really fucked up things, but ultimately she did have a positive outlook for the future.
Yeah.
And season 7, for all of its hot messness, at least had it where, all your positive characters have all converged and we're going to try and change things. We're going to break the wheel.
Yeah.
Season 8 says, fuck that.
Let the wheel spin.
We don't follow these women.
Yeah.
They're fucking crazy. Don't believe in anything because you'll just get fucked over.
Yeah.
And that's the bitter aftertaste that Game of Thrones has left for me. The final episode does end mildly positively, but the damage has been well and truly done.
I'll just on this now. My brother's told me what happened. Is it true that Jon Snow and Daenerys sort of fall in love, and he has to kill her in what's supposed to be a tragic ending?
Yeah.
Is it terrible? It sounds terrible.
It's awful. It's absolutely awful.
Yeah.
So at the end of season 7, all the pieces have basically been put into place for Daenerys to become the queen of Westeros.
Yeah.
Tyrion will be the hand, and you've got all the cool characters who are kind of left. Right?
Yeah.
And they're all going to try and converge to try and first of all beat the Night King and the White Walkers, and then sort out the bigger systemic problems of Cersei Lannister, who's basically now made herself queen through shenanigans and stuff. So it's hard to even know where to begin with the problems.
What's wrong with Jon Snow and Daenerys getting together and then him killing her? Let's go there. What's wrong with this?
Okay, so alright, so the whole concept of them getting together, I'm not opposed to. Basically, what I think the show was ultimately building towards, which it does kind of do, is that this Iron Throne is fucked up.
Yeah.
Always people find out the Iron Throne is ridiculous, and there's one scene that you're going to love. It's so bad, you're going to love it. But me and my partner Grace kept on saying we need to fucking just melt the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
Form a government, of all the best people in Westeros, and have them rule, instead.
Yeah.
Which we kind of nearly go for, but again, I'll get into that. So Jon Snow and Daenerys get together, and then as it turns out, Jon, through a fan theory, is actually not a Stark. He's actually the illegitimate son of a Targaryen.
Alright.
Because, I don't know if you remember, but in the backstory of Game of Thrones, Ned Stark's sister was kidnapped by a Targaryen, raped and killed, basically. And it's foreseen for the longest time to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's not quite how the story goes. So Ned Stark basically came across this scene where he found out that his sister had actually fallen in love and run off with this Targaryen, and they had a child together.
Yeah.
That child being Jon Snow. And then she dies. Ned knows that if his best friend Robert Baratheon finds out that his sister's son, his nephew, is a Targaryen, he's going to kill him.
Alright, yeah.
So that's why he pretends that Jon Snow's his bastard son.
Yeah.
So then as it turns out, basically, uncle and nephew are aunt and nephew are fucking.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
So the first 3 episodes of season 8, I actually think are quite strong.
Yeah.
After the hot mess of season 7, which is a whole other topic. Season 8, basically, the first 2 episodes of season 8 brings it back to the characters.
Yeah.
And you've got lots of great scenes, lots of great dialogue scenes of all these wonderful characters, character combinations you wouldn't expect. As I said, I'm putting a massive pin in the positive characters coming together to make positive change to the world.
Yeah.
You've got all these great characters coming together, and there's I think the second episode is the best one, where they're about to fight the Night King and his army. And basically it's their final night together before the battle.
Yeah.
It's really great. It's really effective. Episode 3 is the battle for Winterfell, where the Night King basically comes with his army.
Yeah.
A lot of people have mixed opinions about it. It ends with Arya basically killing the Night King.
Okay.
Which I think's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's intentionally confusing, the battle scene, how it's handled, which I think is quite cool.
Is that what people complained about?
Yeah.
It was confusing, yeah.
Yeah, but I liked it because I think it was intentionally done.
Yeah.
The lighting's a bit off, the cutting's a bit erratic, and yeah, I gave credence to them. It's the first battle scene in Game of Thrones in a while. I'm like, yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I actually felt like I was in a battle. I didn't really know what was going on half the time. I don't know what characters have survived. it was really, I think, quite super effective.
So like being in an actual battle then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I thought, you know what, Game of Thrones, at the end of it all, you know, you've come back, you know, you've got 2 stellar episodes, 2 really great episodes to open with, and a really good, effective battle episode.
Yeah.
And you've ended it on a good note. Well done. We got 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck. We'll see how this all ends. So, yeah, episode 4 takes an absolute nosedive in quality. When it's like season 7 style writing, where it's like hot messy. So the characters start to converge on King's Landing. Basically, they got the aftermath of Winterfell. That's the opening 10 minutes, and then they're like, all right, forget about that. We've moved on. We're now amassing an army to attack King's Landing, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, they got a bunch of ships. One of the dragons gets randomly killed by a harpoon. The fleet gets burned. And in the maelstrom of all this confusion, somehow the bad guys, Cersei's army, managed to capture like Daenerys' right hand.
Yeah.
Even though they got no reason to assume she's been kidnapped. Like she's probably dead.
Yeah.
But she's been kidnapped by Cersei. Cersei then executes her in front of Daenerys as her army's outside King's Landing, which then sends Daenerys into a very angry funk. She gets grumpy. She gets very angry.
Yeah.
Because as it turns out, Daenerys is going crazy.
Okay.
She's crazy lady now.
Is this like established? It's not established at all then, basically?
Not really. She's done a couple of like unethical things, but you know, you could call it people have really online. People have got into making sure people understand the difference between actual character development and foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Sure, Daenerys has done a couple of nasty things in her time, which could potentially be foreshadowing.
Yeah.
But her going slowly crazy has not been set up at all.
Mm.
At all. It comes out of left field.
Yeah.
And people are pissed. So she gets to King's Landing, and they've got a fairly peaceful plan for taking King's Landing. Tyrion has snuck into the city in episode 5, and he's basically struck a deal with Jaime, who's returned to become the right hand of Cersei again after mixed things.
Yeah.
They fuck over Jaime royally, but I don't want to bore you with how much they ruin his character. So yeah, they basically sneak back into the city and they strike a deal. When the bells of the tower ring, that means that King's Landing has surrendered, and you don't have to kill anyone else. That's it. We're done. All we're doing is the dragon's going to turn up, the remaining dragon, do a show of force, and then we're going to take the city and capture Cersei in as bloodless a way as possible.
Yeah.
So Daenerys is crazy now.
Yeah.
She rides on a dragon, does the show of force. The army basically captures King's Landing, and the bells start to ring.
Yeah.
But then Cersei, tens and dozens of miles away, can see Cersei in the tower, and she snaps.
Yeah.
In that moment, and she uses the dragon to burn King's Landing to the ground. She destroys everything, like in a horrific, like, it's about 50 minutes of watching people burn to death.
50?
Yeah.
Jeez, is that the whole episode?
No, but the episode's like 80 minutes.
Oh, they all like feature length now?
Yeah, because I think there's all like six episodes. I think the first 2 were like 50, and then the last kind of 4 were like 80 minutes.
Oh, right, yeah.
So Daenerys then proceeds to basically burn King's Landing to the ground.
Yeah.
Destroys everything, kills millions of innocents, women, children, and beforehand all of her advisors, and she's previously agreed that the way to take King's Landing and basically send a message to the people that you're not more of the same is to take King's Landing peacefully.
Yeah.
But you know, because she's had a rough couple days, like, you know, a couple of her closest friends have died, she snaps.
Yeah.
And just goes crazy. And proceeds to burn down all of King's Landing.
Yeah.
Now, part of Daenerys' character is that, you know, she rolls with the punches. You know, she's had a bunch of horrible stuff happen to her in her life, but she always fights on, you know, she always lives on to fight another day.
Yeah.
So she burns King's Landing to the ground, murdering millions in the process.
Yeah.
Kills Cersei and Jaime in the most anticlimactic way possible. The Hound has his stupid final fight with a mountain in one of the worst scenes. Like, it's fucking terrible, and people were pissed.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, this has come out of left field. People are angry at the way, how quickly Daenerys became crazy. It's fine if you build it up over the course of, like, several seasons, but then it ends up being that, you know, the gender politics side So basically, the only kind of two female rulers, have been like crazy or, doesn't look great for a show which has already been addressed as having a problem with women.
Yeah.
And you never really get to understand her pain. It's all told from the ground level. Is
it just a narrative device to get John and her to have some epic fight at the end, basically? To conclude their story together? Kind
of, yeah. But basically, it's part of like a whole, like... I mean, this is in episode 6. It's part of like a whole sexist trope where, the man... Basically, keep your sympathetic male character sympathetic. Your female character has got to do the most horrible thing, and he's got to do a mercy killing.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's tragic for him to have to
It's tragic for him because you don't lose sympathy for your white male protagonist because your female protagonist has gone crazy. She's so far gone that there's, you shouldn't feel sympathy for her anymore.
Yeah.
Which is how the next episode opens, basically. Where Jon talks to Tyrion and basically Jon kills Daenerys. And then the stupidest scene is like where the dragon turns up. The dragon sniffs Daenerys' corpse, basically realises that Daenerys is dead. You think... It's in the throne room as well, by the way. You think the dragon's about to breathe fire and burn Jon Snow to death.
As the logical thing would be.
That's the logical thing to do. But instead he turns his head and he uses his fire to melt the Iron Throne.
Really?
Yeah.
It sounds ridiculous.
It's like the smartest dragon ever who can he's never seen the Iron Throne before. 2, understands its significance. And 3, doesn't try to burn the person that basically killed the person that killed his mother, basically. Yeah. So the dragon turns and melts the Iron Throne in the dumbest scene. And then stuff happens.
Does Tyrion get killed?
No, Tyrion lives.
Oh, right.
Tyrion becomes Hand of the King.
Oh, who's the king now?
Is
it Jon Snow?
No, what happens is the remainders of Daenerys' army basically keeps Jon Snow and Tyrion as like prisoners.
Yeah.
And then the leaders of Westeros come to bargain with the remainder of the army, and then they agree to release Tyrion and then also release Jon Snow as well.
Okay.
Tyrion becomes the Hand of the King, and basically all the most powerful people of Westeros are at this kind of council meeting, and they decide that instead of it being by birth now, this group of... Because in one of the only good scenes, and one of the only funny scenes, a moment of levity, Sam, you remember Sam?
Yeah.
He goes on. He's been on the whole journey. He basically suggests a form of government where, the people vote for someone.
Yeah.
But of course, that's way too progressive and radical for the world of Westeros, so everyone just laughs it down, which I thought was quite cute.
Yeah.
But instead, a bit of a compromise between the two. So instead, the most senior and most important people of Westeros will vote amongst themselves for someone to become the king.
Yeah.
So when this king dies or queen dies, they'll vote for the most worthy person. So Bran Stark becomes the king.
Is he the guy who turns into an eagle or something?
Yeah. Bran goes on a stupid journey. A character so integral to the plot that he's not in season 5.
At all?
Nope.
Oh my god.
He becomes like the three-eyed raven.
Oh, right.
Who's some all-seeing prophet who could see through time or some shit like that.
So he could see himself become king then, surely?
Yeah. He knows where it's all going. I mean,
why didn't he stop his brother from being killed?
It raises a multitude of questions. So Tyrion makes the dumbest speech possible, where it's like, well, out of all of us, who's had, had a lot of time to think, and it's all about stories. We love stories, and who's had a better story than Bran Stark, a crippled boy who became the three-eyed raven? And so basically he uses that to basically convince people that Bran is the most worthy to become king. Fine, whatever. Because he's more of a figurehead.
Yeah.
Because in the background, Tyrion becomes the Hand of the King, and then they elect a council.
Yeah.
So Bran is a measured king. He's not going to do anything crazy. The Iron Throne's been destroyed. He's more of a figurehead, and then the actual Tyrion forms the group who actually governs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it moves towards a mildly more positive ending, but it's still fairly dumb shit the way they do it.
Yeah.
They ran out of stuff for Arya to do, basically, at the end of season 6.
Yeah.
So, Arya went off to go become an assassin, and become a faceless person.
I've heard of this storyline.
It's got no payoff.
Really? What does she do in the end, then? Is she just there with Bran or something?
Kind of. So, at the end of season 6, she basically decides to... Because, again, the idea of season 7, all your positive characters are coming to form positive change for the world.
Yeah.
And pin that pin. Arya comes back to Westeros to basically go through her list. Now she's learned how to be an assassin.
Yeah.
She doesn't kill anyone on a list, and she at the end of after basically in season 7, she just mills about. There's some forced drama with Sansa, which is stupid. So at the start of season 8, after the big battle at Winterfell, she goes with the Hound because he leaves because he wants to go kill his older brother.
Yeah.
She wants to go kill Cersei. Basically, it's just an excuse to have Arya be in the city for when Daenerys unleashes her dragon, because we like Arya, we don't want to see her die. So the thing motivating her entire character, going down this list and killing people, she's about to go up the stairs.
Yeah.
She's about to go kill Cersei. The Hound's like, don't do it. This is terrible. You'll hate yourself forever. And Arya's like, okay, thanks. Then she turns around and goes.
Yeah.
It's it's a nice lesson for her to learn that she doesn't have to take revenge.
Yeah.
But not fucking basically an hour, 2 hours before the end of your series. And then all she can do then in the next episode is just walk about as Daenerys is attacking the city because, the showrunners know we like Arya.
Yeah.
Don't want to see her come to harm, and she's only there just so you can get some oh no, Arya. Oh. And then she's not able to kill anyone on the list. She learns a trite lesson at the last minute. And then, because the writers don't know what to do with her, Arya's like, what's west of Westeros? And Jon's like, I don't know. Well, I want to go find out. So she sails, basically. She goes into the west.
Yeah.
It's the shittiest ending possible. The North becomes an independent kingdom.
Alright.
With Sansa as the Queen of the North.
Okay.
So instead of the 7 kingdoms, it's now the 6 kingdoms. Yeah, a bunch of dumb shit happens. A bunch of really dumb shit happens. Is that summary enough for you?
That seems to be summary. But is it terrible because they ran out of ways to do the book, or because they artificially extended it to fit how? Because this, it is HBO's biggest show.
Yeah. And
they're really going to struggle now, because they're clearly desperate to close stuff off. They've got Sopranos, Deadwood, I keep saying is ending soon.
Yeah.
That's going to get them some, money until, they find something else. But they need another big hit,
I don't think the problem is necessarily with the fact that they went off records from the books, because, you can do that. There's a great...
Don't the books get terrible as well in, 4 and 5?
Yeah, but the books start to get really mixed in books 4 and 5, where, stupid shit happens.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think most fans agree that the shit gets dumber in the show.
Okay, yeah.
So...
Do you think they are just artificially extending it then, like HBO, to get more... Well, were artificially extending it to get more money?
Here's the thing, because with the amount of plot they had to cover, in those last 3 seasons, they could have easily made, 4 more seasons.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think the big problem was the showrunners.
Just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, well, basically they said that what they wanted to do with Game of Thrones was basically get to the Red Wedding.
Oh,
they
right.
want to do the Red Wedding on screen, and after that, they weren't as interested.
Oh, right. That shows then if Free's the last great one.
Yeah. Which to me is an indicator that if they wanted to keep the show going,
yeah,
would have been a great chance to change showrunners.
Yeah.
Get some new showrunners in and let someone else do the second half of Game of Thrones. I think because we knew the problem is that George R.R. Martin, the author of Game of Thrones, described the books as being an overgrown garden.
All right.
So, as an author who makes stuff as they go along, George R.R. Martin, likes to plant seeds in his garden. Plot threads start to come up from those seeds, branch out, get bigger, to the point where the garden's overgrown. There's too much shit going on, too many plot lines to do with, too many characters. Probably why it's taken so long to write the final book.
Which is never going to come out.
Which probably not
die
come
first.
Out, no.
Yeah.
He'll probably die first. Yeah. There's so
and
much.
He probably has no
on.
interest in it, to be honest.
No, he could live off that HBO money.
Right, I'm sure he must be a multi-millionaire by now.
He's doing fine.
Yeah.
He's fine. Yeah. So the problem is that the show's got all these branches coming off. I mean, the writers inherited that problem, and I think they knew they had to find a way of concluding the story. I ultimately don't mind them cutting corners, getting characters from point A to point B quickly, whatever. I get that each trying to end a really complex story.
Yeah.
The problem, I think, comes from them just forgetting who the characters were.
Yeah.
So the characters just don't make any sense anymore. Like Jaime Lannister is the perfect encapsulation of this, where he goes on a great journey, really great journey of like the going back and forth between him and Cersei, him learning to basically try and be a good person or an analog of a good person, and at the end of like the third episode of season 8, you think he's made that change. You think he's right. This is it now.
Yeah.
He's come at the last minute to help our heroes defeat the evil. To defeat the Night King.
Yeah.
And he settles down with Brienne.
Oh yeah.
So they get together.
That seemed the logical place for it to go.
For
But then don't they
for
get-
5 minutes. Yeah.
Aw.
And then he's like, "Fuck that! Now I'm going back to Cersei."
Oh.
And it's like, for fuck's sake, like, his character arc was done.
Yeah.
Nice little bubble. It was finished. It was done. He's gone out with a slightly abusive relationship with Cersei. He's become a better person.
Incestuous relationship.
He's incestuous
with Cersei,
relationship with
wasn't it?
Cersei, yeah. And he's now become a good person. He's become a better person because of what he's gone through. And Brienne also ends her journey as well.
Yeah.
Brienne's made a knight, like the first female knight in Westeros.
Okay.
Which is cool, So basically both their journeys have ended. That's a really nice place to end those characters. But then Jaime is like, nope, I still want Cersei.
Yeah.
So he goes off to King's Landing and spends his final hours looking for Cersei, and then dies with Cersei.
Okay.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Basically, it seems to me the writers went out of the way to basically say all the fan theories you've got about
True.
how the shows are going to end. Not even that, like, fuck them, we're just going to...
Really?
Yeah, because a lot of the fan theories, they're not as stupid as like those Star Wars ones we watched.
Yeah.
Where there are actual setups.
Yeah.
Where there actually are things for you. Like the whole thing of Jon Snow being a Targaryen is planted.
Yeah.
There are seeds that you can follow, so it doesn't come completely out of left field. So when Cersei was a kid, she had like a prophecy given to her by a witch that she'd be killed by her older brother.
Yeah.
Now, of course, most people... Sorry, no. You'll be killed by your younger brother.
Yeah.
So most people automatically think that's going to be Tyrion.
Yeah.
But Jaime's actually younger than Cersei by about, 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
So a lot of people thought that Jaime was... poetically it makes sense that Jaime's the one who has to kill Cersei.
Yeah.
But it's also quite cool that, Jaime is not only a Kingslayer, but also a Queenslayer.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of interesting things you could do with the character arc, but instead they just die by a bunch of bricks falling on top of them. And that's how these great characters die.
What happens is someone, does the dragon dislodge the brick and it
Yeah.
falls? Oh, right, yeah.
But the most annoying thing is that in the next episode, Tyrion basically goes to inspect the scene,
Yeah.
and literally, if they'd stood a couple meters, if the background was shot, if they'd stood a couple meters away,
Really?
the bricks wouldn't have fallen and they wouldn't have died.
It's terrible.
So that's how these great characters die. These great, borderline Shakespearean characters
Yeah.
die. They just forget pathos or paying off stuff. So I think a big tell is that one of the showrunners said that themes are for an 8th grade English literature essay.
Oh my god, really?
Which I think says a lot about them as writers. Nothing wrong with undermining expectations. It could be great. It's part of why Game of Thrones was so unique in the opening.
Yeah.
You've got Ned Stark. Traditionally, he's your hero. He's the one who's going to see you through to the end of this story. He's going to crack the mystery of who killed Jon Arryn. And he's going to go on to, be the hero. But he gets killed.
Yeah.
What is a death? Game of Thrones is famous for its deaths. What is a death? A death is the end of a character arc. It's the denial of a character arc.
Yeah.
That's why a good death hurts. It could be a character you love the journey that they're going on. And for that character to be killed,
Yeah.
that character's dead, but it's also denying you, the reader or the watcher, a chance to enjoy that character's journey. Their journey has been cut short.
Yeah.
Which is part of why the Red Wedding works so well, because you think Rob is going to have an upper hand, he's going to start... Rob and Catelyn, they think they're going to turn the tide in this war.
Yeah.
But instead, they're cut down with the
Yeah.
Red Wedding, and half the cast is essentially wiped out. Problem with that trick is you can only really do it twice.
Yeah.
The third time is pushing it, which is again why I stand by that the show should have stuck to its guns of positive characters coming together to make a positive change, to make a better world.
That seems to be the only thing that's logically coherent with the like story as well. Like, if it doesn't do that, it's just empty nihilism essentially.
Exactly, yeah, and that's exactly the problem with this last season. It's just nihilistic.
Yeah.
Where like don't put because basically a lot of the characters start to put their faith in Daenerys.
Yeah.
Like Tyrion's like, I believe in Daenerys. I believe she'll do a good thing, and Jon's like, yeah, I believe in her too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like it's a bit ham-fisted at times, but the ultimate point is they're starting to put their faith into like somebody or into something.
Yeah.
Whatever that thing could eventually be. But for them to cut it short, they're basically having Daenerys go crazy. The theming gets all fucked up. The theming becomes just don't believe in anything.
Yeah.
Because you just get, no pun intended, you're going to get burned.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's a massive problem then, isn't it?
It's a huge problem. Especially with how this last season's going.
I'm surprised there aren't even idiots who are like, oh, it's fucking epic, you know, everyone gets killed and stuff. Like, I know anyone who defends it. I've not heard anyone who has a positive,
Everyone I've spoken to about it is either indifferent or hates it.
Well, that's good at least, I suppose. Yeah. I suppose we have to wait 10 years for the contrarian takes.
Yeah. I mean, most of the defenders have kind of said, like, oh, well, it was foreshadowed, but Daenerys is so crazy. It's like, yes, but foreshadowing is different to characterization.
Yeah.
It's completely different. Yes.
Foreshadowing is more something you do with like an inanimate object, anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, gun in the cabinet. Chekhov's gun, yeah. That's foreshadowing.
Yeah, not an actual person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. People are much more complicated than that. People are like, well, she crucified those slavers.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's a fucked up thing she did.
Yeah.
But I want to argue that's the reason why she went crazy. And people are like, oh, well, in the last few days, Daenerys lost her dragon, she lost her best friend, she lost her right hand, and it's... And I was like, literal right hand, as in like a right hand advisor. It's kind of like, well... yeah, that's fine, but you can't be doing this in the last, like... 2 episodes of your series.
It should have built up more about who she was, and stuff, and like the fact she had these tendencies anyway and stuff. Like that could have been quite dramatic and stuff if she were fighting against that and then became the Mad Queen who needs to be killed. Yeah.
If they built it up properly, I wouldn't even say even like kill her, because that just brings up I think too many like gender issues.
Especially from Jon Snow. When did he become the main character? Because he's shit. The actor who plays him is not very good, I don't think. Kit Harington, and like the character is just nothing.
Well, the thing is oh God, I mean, like...
The thing I don't like in season 1 through 4 as well is his arc, which is like, I've got to go back to North. No, you don't. Stay here. And then every season it's the same thing. It's because Jon gets killed, then it's his brother, then it's like, every season is just like, I've got to go back. No, you don't.
Well, Jon does go back North. Basically, as part of the deal for releasing Jon Snow, is that the people, who, by the way, leave immediately after this deal is struck, say, alright, we'll agree to these terms if Jon Snow joins the Night's Watch.
Who are they fighting still, the Night's Watch?
Nobody.
Who are they keeping? Like,
nobody. It's not really answered.
It's like a punishment and just
But then, like, these guys leave Westeros to sail to far lands.
Yeah.
So it's like, just come back now. It's fine. You know?
Yeah. But that's the shittest character arc ever. He just ends the same place he began without learning anything.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
But the thing is that like you can have Daenerys go on a bit of a mini rampage.
Yeah.
I don't actually have anything wrong with that. Where maybe she sees Cersei, she snaps, the dragon starts destroying things, burns some buildings. She maybe even kill a couple soldiers, and then go really try here, really obvious because it's it's a big popular show. But the dragon's about to breathe fire on the town, and then she sees a family.
Oh, yeah.
Terrified, scared. She makes eye contact with a little girl, and in that moment she's like, fuck.
Yeah.
What have I become?
Yeah.
And then at that point, that's when you can start moving towards, right, well, maybe I'm not the right person to lead. Maybe this whole concept of the Iron Throne is stupid.
And she has like a negotiated leaving where she like says to all this government basically. And
or at least has like a big say in it, like maybe form a degree of government or something, or or something. There's something better to do than just go. She goes crazy.
Yeah.
And she kills millions in the process because it makes all our characters look dumb.
Yeah.
It's like seasons and seasons of just wasted time. All this build up.
Yeah.
And there's no payoff to the characters, which is the ultimate insult for me. Where you want all these people to have payoffs. You want all these people to kind of have their stories end in a satisfying way. I know it's hard writing at endings.
Yeah.
Especially for something as like long running as Game of Thrones, but
and something as big, I suppose. No, I bet they thought that anything they do would piss people off, so they'd just do what they thought was the right thing. Like,
which I ultimately think that as I said, that sorry, I'm taking that pin out again, where positive characters coming together to make a positive change was the best way to go.
Yeah.
You know, maybe this whole idea of the monarch is flawed.
Yeah.
Has burned the Iron Throne. Has brought us nothing but grief and trouble.
Yeah.
You know? Which is where I probably think it should have gone. But instead they went with, no, Daenerys is crazy.
Yeah.
So then in the next episode she's grimacing and she's all like, we have conquered, we have taken over, and now we will make all of Westeros pay, we will conquer. And she's like, oh, well, it's in the name of good. And it's kind of like, fuck me. So then Tyrion speaks to Jon, and then Jon stabs her, and it's like this huge dramatic scene, and it's bad. It's really, really bad.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a thing with TV shows where they have to be like open-ended to a degrrie to have a satisfying ending.
Yeah.
Like Sopranos, amazing ending, completely ambiguous and stuff. Doesn't even round off most of the characters and stuff. Thematic point made though, obviously, you know, like why a terrible ending? Because it tries to round everything off. I wonder if there's a problem just with the idea of an ending in TV, because it's an open-ended medium with all this different stuff going. Like,
and that's the thing, like, even if it just...
Buffy, shit ending.
Yeah, Buffy shit ending, yeah. Cause the thing is, I'd accept like a middle ground.
Alright, yeah.
Where, like, you thematically end your story.
Well, that's Sopranos does that, though,
Sopranos does that, yeah. And then kind of, like, you cap off the characters' current stories.
Yeah.
But you could still continue them if you wanted to.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's kind of the ideal. Which I think of any good... Outside of the Last Airbenders, I think one of the best... For, like, a traditional... like non arty Sopranos thing, for like a traditional TV
show,
program. I think Avatar: The Last Airbender's got one of the better endings.
Mad Men's got an amazing ending, but you've never seen that, so it's obviously impossible to discuss. Like,
I'm guessing you've not seen Last Airbender.
No, I've not seen that.
I don't want to spoil it either.
I've seen the. I was going to joke about the Last Airbender.
No, you see the Shyamalan movie. Yeah.
I've not even seen that. You told me it was terrible.
Yeah, it's awful. But like that show thematically ends.
Yeah.
And it kind of rounds off the characters, but not really. It leaves them at a point where you're satisfied to leave them.
Yeah.
It's fine. You know, their stories are done, basically. Because, for me, it's not even necessarily like, this is where the character ends. It's just the end of their arc.
Yeah.
It's how the character ends their current story. So, you know, for me, the whole last season essentially serves as an ending.
Yeah,
you know? Because all the character arcs are completed.
Yeah.
In their current forms, and I'm fine with an ending like that because you have your whole season serve as being an ending. You know?
Yeah.
It's a tricky thing to do, and it's not an easy thing to do. But I think there's a smarter way of doing it than Daenerys is just crazy now.
Yeah.
She just kills everyone.
Yeah. I wonder if they even, like you said with the Red Wedding, if they even had anything to say with Game of Thrones, or if it was just to adapt a bunch of good books onto the screen, like.
It's hard to say. And
it's impossible, obviously, to get into their minds to do it.
I ultimately don't think there's anything wrong with just saying we just want to, like, adapt these entertaining books into an entertaining TV show.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, you know, I don't think you need to necessarily make a grand artistic statement like with everything.
Yeah.
But if you just want to make an ostensibly entertaining show with good characters, some occasional.
But then you would do like paying off character, like develop. I mean, you do like what fans wanted then, I suppose, and stuff.
Yeah.
Like maybe not word for word, but you wouldn't like go out of your way to piss them off and stuff. Like,
that's the thing, and that's essentially what they did.
Yeah.
I think it was bought into their own hype. I think that's a huge part of it because people responded really well to the Red Wedding. It was huge when it happened. But the problem is that serves as like a halfway point of the story.
Yeah.
It's not the reason why you watch the show. Like I remember a bunch of people saying like, you know, I wish we'd killed more characters in that. And I'm like, no, I'm fine with that.
Just arbitrarily killed more characters.
Exactly. It's like, you know, it's like I saw Avengers Endgame, but like most of the world.
Yeah.
You know, a fine movie. You know, it was entertaining. I enjoyed it a lot. But I respected the fact that they didn't go overkill.
Yeah.
On who they killed. It was just Iron Man and it was just Black Widow. And I'd argue that maybe one diff slightly more than the other is given...
Technically they kill off like Captain America too.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, like he's done basically.
Like his character arc's done. But that's the thing, that's just what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think it's much better having his story end like that.
Yeah.
Than just killing him.
Yeah.
You know, like Tony Stark's arc is done. You know, there's not more he could do. So I think it's kind of cool that he's...
Oh, there's spoilers for Avengers Endgame.
Spoilers for Endgame. I'll probably put a spoiler warning at the start of the podcast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just so people know. But yeah, I'd much rather have it where, you know, Tony Stark's the one who's the sacrificial one. You know, he makes the sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great end point for Captain America where they finish him off. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Even if it falls apart, we start thinking about like narratively, thematically. I think it's fine having Captain America basically have him still saving the world in one life, but then having the life he kind of always wanted.
Yeah, he's learned to move past being just Captain America.
Exactly. He learns to be
thematic character, but it all makes sense.
Yeah, like he learns to be Steve Rogers again.
They're pretty much TV shows anyway, though.
Yeah, but you might as well
more like a
compare
TV show than a film, really. Like.
Yeah. And even like with the way they end 4, like, you know, that's a fine ending.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 like a lot of people think just because he goes off with them at the end. But if you want to end this character there, that he's now a bit of a free spirit, he does what he wants.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm fine with him ending that there. And I like the fact that Iron Man is pretty much the only one who... And Black Widow are the ones who make the deaths. I'd rather have a couple meaningful deaths than dozens of ones that ultimately nothing. That's the big thing that Harry Potter fell into.
Just killing people off.
Killing people for the sake of it. Because they end up not caring. You kind of like, whatever, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead. Oh, okay. Like, I disagree with that. I think it's disrespectful to your audience in a way. I would rather have a couple meaningful deaths.
Yeah.
Like Snape dying in Harry Potter. I suppose spoilers for Harry Potter as well, but everyone knows it at this point.
Well, who's Snape?
Who's Snape? Yeah, I'd rather have Snape die, maybe a couple of others. And just leave it there. You don't need to go overkill. I don't understand this whole need that people are kind of like, you know...
But death equals drama, because people care and cry when people die.
Yeah.
That's the logic behind it, I assume.
I assume so as well.
And also it's like the easiest way to, you know, end a story ever. Character dies.
Just a character dies, because we don't know what to do with his character anymore.
Well, the thing is, though, like, I suppose with, like, long-form entertainment like this and all, it's like... There are idiots who, if someone's not dead, it's like, can they come back and like do this? And like people expect if it's not over like that for people to return and to do.
Yeah.
And also, you have to sort of imagine what they do afterwards. That's hard work, is that? Like,
exactly,
your brain to go like, oh, they'll do this afterwards. Like,
yeah. Because, like, you know, for what they've done, like using the Avengers films as like an example, what they've done from taking where Tony Stark started in the original Iron Man film to where he finishes, I'd say they've done a sterling job. They've given him an arc.
Yeah,
like, you know, being a selfish arsehole to, you know, being the person who sacrifices himself to save the universe. They've done a good job.
Yeah.
I give credence to them for more than any faults.
Yeah.
I do think that what we do with the characters is at least good and mildly compelling.
Yeah.
You know, so you want to come back and see what happens next to them. To most of them, anyway. Yeah, so the way they end that storyline is fine. You know, I'd rather have Tony do something like that and die in a meaningful way than a bunch of our favourite heroes just dying in combat. Because as I said earlier, what is a death but a betrayal to the reader and the viewer?
You have to earn it, basically.
You got to earn it. Yeah, you got to earn a death, I think. You can do a gut punch death. That's fine as well.
Yeah.
You know, like Sirius Black down in Order of Phoenix for a lot of young readers kind of was that.
Yeah.
Or even Dumbledore in, like, The Half-Blood Prince. Ned Stark down in season 1 of Game of Thrones. It's a gut punch.
Yeah.
And it's fine to do that, but you can't do it constantly because it doesn't become a gut punch.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it is a betrayal to the reader.
Yeah.
Or the viewer. You're ending a character's story arc early.
Yeah.
A character that you're invested in and you like and you want to see their story finished, but you've denied that. You stopped it from happening because you killed them. And I think you've got to, yeah, as you say, you've got to earn that.
Yeah.
For me, in media, the best gut punch death is Willow's girlfriend in Buffy.
Oh, in season 6.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah,
isn't it like those nerds come and they just shoot up the place or something? Or they do something, don't they? And then it's like you don't realise until the end of the episode.
Pretty much, yeah. They basically come to kind of shoot Buffy.
Yeah.
And he ends up misfiring, goes through the window, and it kills Tara.
Yeah. That's brilliant, that season.
Awful.
Where you have no idea how it's going to go until then. Like, you think it's going to be the nerds, and it turns out to be...
Because that's the thing, that's what I love about that season. It is a gut punch.
Spoilers for Buffy.
Spoilers for Buffy, yeah. I need to make a list of all stuff we've spoiled.
Just say we spoil all media of it. You have to watch everything.
All geek media we've spoiled, yeah. But yeah, you know, because like ultimately what becomes the theming then, and it's still a powerful theme there, that at the end of the day, Buffy and her friends have fought, you know, like monsters and demons and time-travelling creatures every single week. But at the end of the day, one idiot with a gun causes more damage to the friends and to the group than any of them.
Yeah, any mythological creature,
Yeah, and it's really sad.
Yeah.
It's sad because it ends Tara's character arc early.
Yeah.
Because she was just trying to kind of get back together. I'm still bitter about it in a way. She was just trying to get back together with Willow again, and they were trying to work something out.
Yeah.
Because, you know, season 6 basically frames that Willow is a recovering drug addict.
Yeah.
You know, and she's addicted to... Well, that's like season 7.
Like magic and stuff.
Yeah, but she's like addicted to magic, which is basically she's addicted to drugs. They were kind of just starting to work something out together.
Yeah.
And it's cut short. It's tragic, it's a gut punch, but there's a reason behind it as well, and it is that whole, like... There is that kind of gun control aspect to it, I think.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it's a gut punch to the viewer, but you can only do that once.
Yeah.
You can't do it multiple times, which I think the writers of Game of Thrones kind of wanted that Daenerys goes crazy to be that gut punch.
Yeah.
That, haha, no surprise at the end, haha, got you.
Yeah.
So fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not right. I don't think it's fair on the viewers who invested so much time into these characters.
Yeah. Because like how long's Game of Thrones been going? Like 10 years.
10
now?
years, something like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like it's a bit unfair to just fuck them over like this so badly in the end. I think that.
Because it's just like, you know, it's just faithful to your audience and to the show that you've created, to the themes that you've created, to the characters you've created.
Yeah.
You know, I would much rather have a show which has respect for its characters. Probably why I hate stuff like Family Guy.
Yeah.
Like, it clearly hates its characters, and it's kind of like...
Well, Family Guy, again, empty nihilism, where every joke is just mean and unfunny towards people. The characters can get killed or changed in any episode, and it doesn't make any difference. And it's just poisonously bad.
It is, basically. And you see what I mean about the world probably not needing something like that at the moment? Like, don't believe in anything.
Yeah,
you can get fucked over. Like,
well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just empty nihilism, which I just don't think... And the thing is, there's loads of like ways you could do this slow descent thing if you wanted to go that way.
Yeah.
There's loads of ways you could do it and make it interesting and compelling. There's books and there's plays and there's films, fucking radio dramas. I don't know, like loads of stuff which is done a slow descent into madness. Better if that's the way you wanted to go. But I'd argue
that Shakespeare does some slow descents into madness.
Well, yeah, I mean, fucking King Lear.
Yeah.
Like, the play is like a 3.5 hour protracted descent of kingly madness.
Yeah.
You know, it's effective and it's heartbreaking and tragic. Ultimately, you understand what makes them tick. I'm going to spoil another thing here, and we'll probably start to wrap up. But I'm currently reading the Mortal Engines books.
Oh yeah, they made that terrible film. They made a terrible film,
but the books are great.
Yeah.
The books are really, really good. They go to really interesting places. But in the second book, one of the characters makes an incredibly unethical decision. And basically, it potentially could kill dozens of people.
Yeah.
It could, it basically puts the characters in the scenario that they're in for the third book.
Yeah.
But no one knows that she did it. The good characters don't know she did what she did. And that in itself it's a fine launch point to hang your drama around. Because for one, it's a ticking time bomb. The good characters are going to find out eventually.
Yeah.
We're going to find out what she did. But you as the reader understand why she did it.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. They've built up this character over the course of the book and how she's feeling and why she did the thing that she did. But also it's informed by what we know from the previous book. It's completely in keeping with her personality, and the author, Philip Reeve, went to a lot of effort to make sure that you understood why she did what she did.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones doesn't do anything like that.
Yeah.
And I could list a dozen examples of how a character does an unethical thing, but you, the viewer or the reader, understands why they did it.
Yeah.
I
suppose we should really cap it off with where we started, really, about endings and stuff like that. Game of Thrones, then. You think if you were recommending it to someone for the first time, you say to stop at an arbitrary place, do you think that's even possible with series? And how much of an impact did it still make on your overall experience of Game of Thrones?
All right.
So there's 3 questions there.
Okay. So I would probably say, first of all, if you were going to finish Game of Thrones, finish at episode 3. Actually, I heard a great suggestion from someone. End it at episode 2 of season 8.
Okay.
It ends on a really dark and ambiguous note. The characters' plot lines haven't been fucked over yet.
Yeah.
And it ends on this really kind of dark note.
Yeah.
But then, if you want to have a visceral battle scene,
yeah,
end it on episode 3. It's fine. What were the questions again?
The other question was, oh god, I can't really remember it now. Do you think that the ending will make you appreciate the rest of the series less? Like, do you think that happens with TV? Would you ever want to watch Game of Thrones again now?
I need to give it some space.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that in a few years' time I could re-watch the series and remember why it is that I love the show.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that hurts for me the most as someone who was invested in the show, where the first 2 episodes of season 8 reminded me why I liked the show. Because it returned to, I was thinking, at the end of season 8, start of season 8, I thought, oh my god, this is great.
Yeah.
At the end of it all, they've come back to what made the show great. That was the characters. That's what they came back to.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to screw them all over. And ruin them in ways which I can't even begin to describe. So, at the moment, I'd say it has sullied it a little bit, but this is kind of where it's gone.
Yeah.
But maybe ask me in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Of how I feel, because...
Well, it's weird with TV, isn't it? Now it takes up such a big part. It's like serialised films or something. They take up such a big part of like the cultural space, especially this, which is like probably the Star Wars of TV, like
definitely.
Of that like impact and stuff. And yeah, like it's just a huge thing, isn't it? Like week by week analysis and stuff. People are always going to be let down, but yeah, it's a weird one ending a TV show.
Yeah.
As somebody said, I like to give my audience a little bit, not too much. Then they imagine their own space. Orson Welles. Maybe that's the way to end it. Give a little bit, and then people can imagine their own thing. Write fan fiction and.
Yeah. But you don't want to wrap things in a tight little bow, I think.
Yeah.
Again, I think that's Harry Potter's biggest problem with the ending. It just concludes everything. While something like Avatar: The Last Airbender ends the characters at a point where you could end the show in a satisfying way.
Yeah.
But, you've got stuff you can do.
Is there going to be a prequel to this Game of Thrones? Or yeah, there is.
Yeah, HBO's doing a bunch of spin-off shows.
I hate HBO while that's big online.
Yeah.
HBO's a weird one, because it's just a big company making stuff, but, it used to be like a real mark of quality. HBO, like Criterion or something, it was like, oh, they make great TV and stuff. Now it's just garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, well... Don't fuck up the Deadwood movie.
Yeah.
Don't fuck up the ending of this show. But yeah, no, so it's left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth.
I think the Deadwood movie's different though. If that's bad, it's like easier to disentangle.
That's true. Because you've still got a great first 3 seasons.
And also, it's like so much time has passed. It feels like a little surprise around anything. Like,
yeah.
Bring back Merrick. It stopped the PC madness, basically. It stopped our favourite character from being... Just because he may have molested a few children, he's not allowed on sets anymore.
Just because he ruined several people's lives,
Whatever.
I want my quirky, pudgy newspaper editor back.
What I say is, he appears on screen with Beat It playing in the background and walks over to Bullock.
And then he says hello to someone on
Louis C.K.
Yeah. I was going to say he says hello to a passerby on the street, and the passerby is played by like Kevin Spacey or something. Yeah.
That went off the rails. Anyway, one sentence to summarise the ending of Game of Thrones then.
One sentence?
Yeah.
It's obvious, but it's so true. They fucked up.
There we go.